On the show, in Wheelspin, we drive the recently launched Hyundai Xcent. In Wheelspin, we drive the Mercedes G63 AMG. In Wheelspin, we take a first ride on the Harley-Davidson Street 750.
Meet the latest offering from Hyundai. Now I know what you're saying, and yes, that's exactly what they've done. Hyundai have added a boot to their i10 Grand and launched it as the Xcent. But it's the way that they've done it. It's actually quite commendable. The body style looks complete as a proportionately designed sedan and not really an afterthought experiment gone horribly wrong. If you look at the rear end of the car, it features a nice thin tailgate chrome garnish over here. And what I really like is these wraparound tail lamps. They've got chrome accents in them, but it actually makes it look quite good rather than garish. The Xcent is being projected as a durable, reliable, fun to drive, stylish, feature-rich, spacious, and yet an affordable family sedan. The Xcent is designed to be a comfortable, spacious, feature-rich family car. So let's just examine it from these perspectives. Now to start with, in the true sense of the word, you get keyless entry. The key FOB is in your pocket, no need to fumble with it. Just click on the handle and the sensor over there and get inside. Now the starting and the stopping of the engine, well, that's keyless too. You just get a little button over here, start, and you're good to go. Now, talking more about the features on the inside, you get a double-din music system, and this has an internal 1 GB memory in it, which means that you can store all your songs in this. It's even got pairing for your phone, so you can make and receive calls right from the system itself. Now all this can be easily controlled through the multifunction steering wheel with the buttons over here. You even get a climate control system. We have to remember that this is the top of the line SX variant, so this is a fully loaded car and you pretty much get everything in this. The glove box, well, it's nice and spacious, but interestingly, it's cool too, a segment feature first, which means that you can keep your water bottles, and it's large enough to accommodate 1 liter water bottles, and you can keep them chilled during the hot weather that we have over here. What I really like is the electrochromic mirror here, and it's not only just a electrochromic mirror. Tap it into reverse, and what you see is the rear camera display. Well, you get over here itself, so you don't have to look anywhere else, and it's quite helpful for navigating and parking the car in tight spaces. Well, so that takes care of the car's being features rich part. Now let's talk about the space. Well, as you can see, there's enough and more space on the inside, and the cabin feels quite spacious and quite airy too. There's enough and more headroom, and the seating position itself, well, it's kind of upright. The A-pillars are a little steep, but really doesn't affect your visibility too much. But this is a family car, so let's just check out the space in the back. Well, the seating position is nice and relaxed, and as you can see, the seat is adjusted for my height, and still there's enough and more space over here. Passengers at the back, well, they even get a foldable armrest with cup holders, and again, another segment first, you also get rear AC vents to take care of the hot weather. Well, 2 people can sit pretty comfortably in the back over here, but what about 3? The floor is nice and flat, the seats have been recessed a bit. Yeah, I think 3 is pretty much possible, but might get a little squeezy. Another thing you'll appreciate is the large windows over here, and that's largely due to their toning down of the fluidic design philosophy. They're nice, large, and quite practical, and give the rear seat itself, and again, a very airy kind of a feel. Now, any good family sedan has to have another very important thing, and that is the boot. Well, here also, we have to agree that the Xcent doesn't disappoint at all. It's a pretty spacious boot. As you can see, we've got our camera bag, our tripod stand bag, overnighter, and a couple of other things, and there's still space to accommodate even more luggage, and that's because the boot space is a nice and healthy 409 liters. Now let's take the Xcent for a test drive and actually see how comfortable it is. The one that we've got is the 3-cylinder 1.1 litre diesel engine variant, which makes 72 PS of power and 18.4 kgm of torque, which comes in relatively early at about 1750 RPM. The engine feels quite refined and quiet, and lack of any kind of vibrations inside the cabin gets top marks. The gearbox features a short throw gear shifter, which falls into place with a precise click and is easy and effortless to operate. The gear ratios themselves are spaced out quite nicely for city traffic conditions, and 30 km per hour in the third gear takes no strain on the engine. A nice little feature is the gear shift indicator in the central dashboard, which tells you when to upshift or downshift for maximum efficiency. So now that we know that it's a pretty comfortable car to drive at slow speeds, let's just push it a bit and see how she behaves. It's pretty impressive actually, because you just have to push the accelerator pedal a bit and it responds quite nicely. The acceleration is pretty linear, and that is expected as it develops its maximum torque at about 1750 RPM, and the torque remains flat till its red line of about 4000 RPM. The handling too is quite good, and the Xcent corners quite nicely. But what I'm not a big fan of is this electronically assisted power steering. Don't get me wrong, it is very good at slow speeds and ideal for crowded conditions, but at high speeds, I think it needs to be a little stiffer and communicate more as to what the front wheels are actually up to. I do, however, like what they've done with the suspension setup. It absorbs the bumps and keeps the nastiness out, resulting in a very comfortable ride.
Even at reasonable speeds, because of the soft suspension, there is a bit of body roll, but the ride comfort more than makes up for it. And let's face it, this is not really a car you'd like to throw around, but something that takes you from point A to point B in relative comfort, spaciousness. It's got the gizmos, it's got everything that you would probably want in a car like this, and it drives pretty well too.
In our opinion, the Hyundai Xcent is a pretty well-designed car. It caters to all the requirements of the small family and is loaded with features usually found on premium cars. Except for the steering, which could be tuned better for a feel of the road, we found nothing that anyone else could ask for. A well-thought-of, comfortable family sedan, Hyundai seems to have a winner on its hands.
Many of you might have lusted after a 4x4 Jeep, but for some reason you guys probably haven't seen this. There can be many reasons, but this is the Mercedes G63, and if you want a proper SUV, it doesn't really get better than this. Armed with a 4x4, a 5.5 litre engine, high ground clearance, this is everything an SUV should be, and that too in true military style. The G-Class is what an SUV should be, a tough, no-nonsense vehicle designed for everyday use, which will also take the rough with the smooth. A SUV which will pretty much take you through any road, or for that matter, even when there are no roads. The G-Class does the job of an SUV with effortless ease, and in doing so looks the part as well. The G63 here comes with one of the most respected badging in the automotive industry, that of the AMG, which not only means more power, but it is also style AMG style, with twin exhaust, plenty of space, power and a boot which can help you carry almost anything, and it comes with a port hook as well. The G-Class was born around 33 years ago to meet the challenges of off-roading, and the old G55 has now been replaced by this new G63 AMG, which Mercedes has recently launched, and this looks as formidable as the old one, but what has been added to it is more muscle power, and the looks too have been refined to make it more city slick.
The G63 might be a Jeep, but I tell you it has got everything that can make driving experience extremely pleasurable. All the bells and whistles and all the creature comforts, including a nice audio system.
The interiors of the G63 are complete with all the features that you should expect in a premium car, and in fact takes you a bit by surprise that even an off-roader should have all the goodies. But then the G63 is not only an off-roader, it's an expensive premium SUV which you can drive every day and make your statement as well. So no wonder then that you get plush leather seats wrapped in hand-stitched leather, a TFT screen for display, a quality audio system, and if you desire more, the company offers you an option of a more stylish carbon trim with an exclusive package to ensure your style quotient goes up some more.
If you look at this G63 from outside, you might say that this is another Jeep. But all doubts are really dispelled the moment you get in behind the wheel of the car and you step on the gas pedal. The monstrous V8 produces over 550 brake horsepower and an enormous 760 Newton meters of torque. And the engine is produced by AMG, it's AMG tuned, it's a BITURBO V8. And this really goes. The power comes completely in a linear way, and actually there is no end to the power.
The engine is mated to a 7-speed G-Tronic gearbox, which transfers power to all the four wheels. And it offers the Eco, Manual and the Sports mode for an even more energetic performance. And in terms of driver safety, it comes with ABS, with ESP or the stability program, which ensures that you stay on course, plus an array of airbags.
In terms of handling, it's like any other road car, except that you sit very high, the stance is high, so that gives you a lot of confidence on the highway. It sprang hard, no doubt about that, but at the end of the day, it remains cheap. The only thing I can think of which is slightly better than this is the big brother, the G65.
Which is powered by a mammoth 6-litre V12 engine also produced by AMG.
But what it does is produce a mind-blowing 1000 Newton meters of torque. And that's something I look forward to driving.
The G63 rides on 20-inch wheels, and as a special option, it is possible to get them fitted with matte black painted AMG alloys with a high sheen rim flanges. And the brake calipers are painted in red, and in case you don't like the red, it's also available in silver.
What I'm driving today is of course the left-hand drive because I'm on the German Autobahn, quite close to where AMG produces all these monstrous engines. But in India you can buy the G63 with an AMG tag for the same configuration except for the fact that it's a right-hand drive.
If you want to drive something through the forest, through rain, sleet or even snow, then you can't have a better choice than this G63 AMG. The G63 with the AMG badging is available in India, but you don't see too many of these around because with a price tag of rupees 1.8 crores, it's not going to be an easy task owning one. But if you do agree to shell out this kind of money, then you are entitled to be the owner of what Mercedes calls internally the strong man in their portfolio.
So if you're looking for a vehicle which will take you not only to office but also off-road, then have a look at this AMG G63. It's got power, it's got style and it's practical to the core. Plenty of space and plenty of style in terms of the badging that it gives you. End of the day, it's a Mercedes.
The Street 750 is a new chapter in the book of Harley-Davidson. They have designed a bike which likes to call the cities as home. Now this bike is based on an all-new platform, the first from Harley-Davidson in about 14 years, and even comes with a liquid-cooled Revolution X engine. Now during the design process of the bike, Harley asked young adults from around the cities of the world as to the kind of bike they'd like to own and ride. And the Street 750 is Harley's answer to that. Classic cruiser-style looks is what the Street 750 is based on. Teardrop-shaped 13-litre fuel tank, a step seat, and a tapering tail section wrapped up in compact dimensions defines the Street's new look. But what is immediately noticeable is the lack of abundant chrome and shiny metal, which is a big attraction that defines the Harley look. Still, my only worry with this new platform is that will it be able to carry forward the Harley experience faithfully? To understand that, let's check out the Street 750 in detail. The saddle, which is where you'll be spending a lot of your time, is nice and wide and actually quite comfortable to sit on. Fair bit of cushioning here, won't tire you out over those long distance rides. Now the handlebars themselves, well, they're placed at the right distance, but sadly the feet, they don't really feel very comfortable on the foot pegs because for tall riders like myself, well, the knees assume a kind of a higher position. But they tell me not to worry because there is a tall boy seat option available and that should take care of this issue. We get a centrally mounted speedometer unit over here that houses all the warning lights, but sadly we don't get a fuel gauge, which means that the only time that you know that you gotta go and fill some gas is when a little gas bunk icon just appears on the LCD display over here, and that's the time to head to the pump. Now the switchgear is all very nice and more mainstream and not like your typical Harley. You get the indicator switches on the left hand side as opposed to the left hand side, and on the right hand side you get the engine start and the engine kill switch option. On the road, the Street 750 feels alive. Acceleration is rapid and most of the torque in the Revolution X V-twin engine is developed low in the rev range, which ensures enough grunt is available at the twist of the throttle. The Street 750 feels comfortable in stop-and-go traffic conditions, and because of its liquid-cooled engine, doesn't really overheat or feel claustrophobic in these crowded conditions. In fact, it relishes these conditions because it is very agile at slow speeds and ever so willing to change directions with a slight tap on the handlebars. Another area where this new Street 750 excels is in the suspension setup. It is soft enough to absorb the nastiest of bumps on the broken roads, yet stiff enough to maintain its composure while changing directions at high speeds. Now let's get one thing clear. It is no corner carving machine for sure, with the lean angle limited to 28.5 degrees, but it does impress with its eagerness to explore the limits and take the bends in its stride. A city bike has to have one essential feature, and that is drivability at low speeds in bumper-to-bumper traffic. The gear ratios are nicely spaced to give the Street 750 a real city slicker character. It's quick off the mark, and yet 40 km/h in the fifth gear is very comfortable. Shifting between the gears themselves is easy and does not require much effort. But it's the travel of the gear shift lever which appears to be a little longer, and it's not the easiest thing to get the bike into neutral. There are a couple of other observations that did not find favor with us. The exposed wiring looms at the neck of the bike, the short stock mirrors which make it almost impossible to see behind, are a couple of sore points that can easily be addressed. The visible rib at the center of the fuel tank is a byproduct of the manufacturing process, and again something that is not desirable in a bike wearing the Harley-Davidson logo. So, does the Street 750 carry forward and faithfully reproduce the Harley experience? Well, no. You see, because this is a new kind of Harley experience. It feels at home in the city, feels very comfortable in crowded and traffic conditions. It's very agile and easy to navigate between tight spaces. But at the same time, out on the highway, it feels pretty comfortable up to top speeds of about 160, 170 kilometers per hour. But the wind blast will have you slowing down long before the bike does. Now, another very important factor in favor of the Street 750 is its price. For a little over 4.5 lakh rupees, you can get to own this particular machine. Of course, there are options. You can always build upon them, customize this particular bike to your taste and liking. And you also get entry into the HOGS, which is the Harley-Davidson Owners Group. Now, Harleys just don't offer motorcycles. They offer you a lifestyle, they offer you a culture, they offer you a way of living. And that is a big draw for any Harley owner.